Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, in today's session we are going to study about components. Components are an important part of each and every phase. Now you have three phases: solid, liquids and gases. But these three phases are made up of something. All the three phases will have certain particles or certain material in it. And that material is nothing but the components. We'll study about the components in detail in today's session. Components, and it is written as C over here. We can generally represent it in the form of C with a square bracket. Let us see the definition of it. The term component is defined as the smallest number of independently variable constituents. Let us focus on this. For example, let's take water. Water can be in three forms: solids, liquids and gases. Now solid will also have certain particles in it, liquid phase will also have particles in it, and the gaseous phase will also have particles in it. So the constituents of ice, water or water vapor are my components. They are independent and they are variable. So I have the smallest number of independently variable constituents taking part in the state of equilibrium. Now what do we mean by state of equilibrium? State of equilibrium means the point wherein that substance is in equilibrium with another phases and another forms. That means, for example, let us take the freezing point. Freezing point is the point wherein the water will be in all three formats: solid, that is in the form of ice; liquid in the form of normal water; and gaseous form, that is in the form of water vapor. That means at the same temperature, at the same point, that means in time as well as in temperature, the water will be in three formats: solid, liquid and gas. That is the equilibrium form, or that is the equilibrium point of it, where the same substances is in different forms or in different phases, by means of which the composition of each phase can be expressed directly or in the form of chemical equation. We'll see examples of such wherein you can see each phase distinctly. For example, if you take that ice, that you can see the solid form of ice, you can see the liquid around it, and also you can see the water vapors which are forming around it. So each and every phase can be seen distinctly. In some points, in some chemicals, you cannot see each and every phase distinctly, but you can prove that there were three or more distinct phases at that point of time with the help of chemical reactions. Let's take examples of it. The first one is one component. In water system, we have three phases. The first is solid in the form of ice. The second is water, which is liquid, and water vapor, which is gaseous, and all of them are in equilibrium. That means you can see all the three phases at the same time. Each of these phases are different physical forms of the same chemical substances, that is water. So the constituent or the substance is water. There is only one component. H2O are the molecules which you will find in the solid ice. H2O are the molecules which you will find in the liquid water, and H2O are the molecules which you will find in the gaseous form of water vapor. That means irrespective of its phases, irrespective of its different forms, the only molecules that we find are H2O. That means the only particles, the constituents are the same. That means the components of all the three phases are the same. And if the components of all the three phases are the same, it will become a one component system. This system consisting of three different phases: solid, liquid and gas, but these solid, liquid and gas are made up of just one component, that is water, and that's the reason why we call this system as one component system. Hence system is regarded as a one component system. Let us see the phase composition of it. The first, we have ice, which is solid. Again, if you see in solid, we just have H2O. H2O is nothing but water. On heating it, we get water. If not heating it, just keep it at the freezing point, you will get water. Water is in the liquid form. Again, it has H2O. On heating it or keeping it on the freezing point, you get water vapor, which is the gaseous form of it. It also contains H2O. So if we see the component over here, there is just one component, and that one component is nothing but H2O. The component is water. So even in the different form of it, that is solid form, we have water, that is H2O. liquid form we have water, that is H2O, and gaseous form also we have water, that is H2O. And that's the reason why this entire system can be summed up as one component system. Let us see another example. In sulfur system, there are 4 phases of it: rhombic sulfur, liquid sulfur, sulfur vapor, as well as monoclinic sulfur. Now this rhombic sulfur, monoclinic sulfur, liquid sulfur or sulfur vapor, all of these are different forms of sulfur. These different forms of sulfur have just one component in them, or have just one composition, one particle, one element in them, and that element is sulfur. So even if you see different forms of it, the only thing which it is made up of is sulfur, and that's the reason why again this system will be my one component system, is of one of the phase. Now let us see 2 components or more than 2 components of a system. So the first part we are going to see 2 component system. Let us start off with an example over here. When calcium carbonate, what is calcium carbonate? Calcium carbonate is CaCO3, is heated in a closed vessel, the following reaction takes place. Over here I have CaCO3. On heating it will form CaO plus CO2. Now what happens over here? CaCO3 is a solid. On heating it forms CaO, which is another solid, and CO2, which is a gaseous form of it. Let us see the balancing of this equation first, because balancing is very important in each and every chapter. Irrespective of the purpose of it, the balancing has to be correct so that we can get the number of reactants and products as proper. Let us see the number of calciums on the reactant side. I have 1 calcium on my reactant side. I have 1 calcium on my product side. That means calcium is balanced. The number of carbons on my reactant side is 1. The number of carbons on my product side is also 1. The number of oxygens on my reactant side is 3. The number of oxygens on my product side is 2 plus 1, which is 3. So the entire reaction is a balanced equation. Now let us see the phases of it and the components of it. From the above reaction, it comes to know that there are 3 phases. Now which are the 3 phases? So over here I have CaCO3, which is solid, CaO, which is solid, and CO2, which is gaseous. Thus the decomposition of CaCO3 gives CaO solid and CO2 gaseous. That is, system is of 2 component system. Why 2 component system over here? Because I'm getting 2 components, CaO and CO2. Now we should always match the amount of components with the amount of phases. Over here if you see the phases, you have 2 phases, a solid phase and a gaseous phase. And how many components in all? We have 3, CaCO3, CaO and CO2. Now this CaCO3 and CaO are in which phase? The solid phase. And CO2 is in which phase? The gaseous phase. And that is how we will map the amount of phases with the number of components, and we will find out how many components are exactly there. We have total 2 phases, solid and gaseous, and we have 3 components, CaCO3, CaO and CO2, out of which the first 2 components, that is CaCO3 and CaO, can be grouped into a solid form, and lastly the CO2, that is carbon dioxide, can be grouped into the gaseous form. So over here if you compare this, I can divide it into 2 forms of it, where you will divide your components with the phases and you will map them accordingly. And that's the reason why this, in spite of having 3 legit components, over here in the reaction will fall under the category of 2 components. Although this system has 3 different constituents, it is considered as 2 component system because the composition of each of the above phase can be represented in terms of any of it. Now let us try mapping the components with respective to their phases. This can be understood with the following illustrations. If only CaCO3 and CaO are considered as components, then composition of each can be given as. Now over here, let's take the phase 1 of it, where I have CaCO3. This CaCO3 will give me what? CaCO3 plus 0 times CaO. Why? Because we are just considering CaCO3 over here. The second phase is CaO. CaO will give me 0 times CaCO3 and 1 CaO. Lastly, I have CO2, and this CO2 will give me both of them, that is CaCO3 minus CaO, and thus this becomes my 2 component system. Over here, now let us see the 3 component system in the equilibrium for reaction between ion. Over here I have Fe, which is solid. I have H2O, which is gaseous, which forms FeO, which is solid, and H2, which is gaseous. So I have solid gaseous on my reactant side, solid gaseous on the product side. 2 phases on the reactant side, 2 phases on the product side, total 4 components. We'll map them accordingly and we'll find the components. The composition of each phase can be expressed in terms of the following components. I can express it in terms of Fe over here, which is a solid, H2O over here, which is a gaseous, and H2 over here, which is also gaseous. Hence, it becomes my 3 component system. Moving on to 1 or 2 components over here. In the dissociation of NH3 and NH4Cl in a closed vessel, it can be represented as, I have NH4Cl over here, which is in a solid form. We are converting it into NH4Cl, which is in its gaseous form. Again, we are converting it into NH3 gaseous form plus HCl, which is a gaseous form. This is the entire kind of reaction that we have. In this case, if proportions of NH3 and HCl are equivalent means same amount of it, then the system is one component system. This is because the composition of both can be expressed in terms of NH4Cl alone. But if NH3 or HCl is in excess, the system becomes a 2 component system. That means just by looking at a system or just by doing some kind of reaction, we cannot perform and say that this is a 1 component system, 2 component system, or a 3 component system. It depends upon the kind of components it has, the kind of phases which they undergo, the final phase which they attain, and also if they are in equilibrium or in excess. The D is saturated solution of NaCl in water contains solid salt. Now when I say saturated solution, what do we mean by saturated solution? Saturated solution contains 2 things, solute and solvent. Any solution will contain 2 things, that is a solute and a solvent. When I say saturated solution, that means if I have a vessel with solvent in it, the solvent over here is water. So if I have a vessel with water in it and I start adding NaCl, that is common salt, to it, and I'll start stirring, the NaCl will get dissolved. If I add more NaCl will also get dissolved. But after one point of time, no more amount of extra NaCl will get dissolved because the solution has become saturated. That means the solvent cannot take in any more amount of solute. That means water cannot take in any more amount of NaCl in it, and thus the water has become a saturated solution. Now this saturated solution will have dissolved NaCl, water, plus certain grains of NaCl which remained undissolved because we tried to put in more in it. This is my saturated solution. Saturated solution of NaCl in water contains solid salt, salt solution, and water vapor. The chemical composition of all 3 phases can be expressed in terms of NaCl and H2O. Why? Because the entire solution contains just 2 things, that is NaCl and H2O. NaCl in dissolved format, NaCl in solid format, and water in its normal format. If we heat it, it will become water in its normal liquid format plus water in the vapor format. But if you see, all these are just different forms of it. The main 2 components over here are just NaCl and water, and that's the reason why it forms a 2 component system. Let us see the dissociation reaction. Over here, I am taking a solid, that is CuSO4.5H2O. This 5H2O is known as water of crystallization. That means this 5H2Os are loosely attached to my CuSO4, giving it some kind of crystalline shape and color, and this entire substance is solid. Now this on reaction or simply on heating gives me CuSO4.3H2O plus 2H2O, which is in its gaseous form. If you see, I have a solid over here, I have another solid over here, I have another gaseous form over here. If we just see, we can see 3 components over here. But these 3 components can be entirely defined only by 2 things. The first is CuSO4 and the second is H2O. And because of this, it is known as a 2 component system. 2 components which are CuSO4 and H2O. So in today's session, we studied about components. We also studied about the different systems. That is the 1 component system, 2 component system, 3 component system, 1 or 2 component system. That is the same reaction showing either 1 component form or 2 component form. And we also studied how components affect the different phases of it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned to Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.